Welcome back to Jacksonville. Beautiful day as we take a look at the Texans and the Jaguars, and this will be their 17th meeting. Steve, they're almost identical.
I mean, you can't get closer than that, Gus. Look at the difference in these two teams over the course of this series. There is no difference.
So for Gary Kubiak and his Texans, they're coming off a 29-23 home loss to San Diego. Kubiak in his 5th year. Meanwhile, on the other sideline, Jack Del Rio's Jaguars are coming off the bye week. Prior to that, a 35-17 win at Dallas. Big game for David Garrard.
Yeah, he threw for 4 touchdowns, ran for another. It was a huge day for them, and I think it really sent them into the bye week on a huge up. As you look at the weather, Gus, it could not be more perfect.
Jacksonville has won the toss, and they have elected to receive the football.
Yes, both these, as we said in the open, Gus, both these clubs, 4-4, both of them really feel this is an important game. Yeah, it's not do or die, really, because there's so much that can happen in the second half of the season, just as we've seen in the first half of the season all over the league. But these two teams are in the division. They're 1 game behind, and it does not look like the wild card is going to come out of the AFC South. So if you want to go to the playoffs from the South, you're going to have to win this division.
So Neil Rackers, in his 11th season out of Illinois, will kick it away, and back deep, Deji Kareem, the dangerous rookie out of Southern Illinois. And he can really get it going. Shifty runner who comes in as well for Maurice Jones-Drew.
There is not a breath of wind in this stadium today.
17th meeting between the Texans and the Jaguars. Very important game if they want to keep pace with Tennessee and Indy. And we're underway. Kareem from the 2. Gets outside. Crosses the 25-yard line. A 26-yard return. Sherrick McManus with the tackle on special teams for Houston. So that brings out David Garrard. And 2 weeks ago in Dallas had one of his best games, threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions for a quarterback rating of 157.8. Steve, he started off the year slowly, but he's really been picking it up.
Yeah, and he's been more consistent. And it's like you said, Gus, he's really started to step it up, and you can see it not only on offense for the Jaguars, but also their defense plays better.
First down and 10 to the 28-yard line. Garrard throwing on first down, pulls it down, now wants to run. Garrard to the 35, and he's pushed out of bounds by Brian Cushing at the 36. That's a 9-yard gain. So offensively for this Jacksonville team, flag on the play.
Yeah, that looked like it was a bad play for the Jaguars. Actually, it was very good. Great coverage by Houston, but Jacksonville with David Garrard makes a great play out of it. Gain of 9 yards on first down.
Gene Steratore is your referee today.
Holding. Defense number 29. 5-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. First down.
That's Glover Quinn, left corner. And let's take a look.
Right at the top. And as this play, and this one always had, yeah, you can't, yeah, that's no question. Quinn did, that was a desperation move. He didn't want to give up the touchdown, just knew that if he let the receiver go by, it was going to be a touchdown.
Jacksonville running the football. Maurice Jones-Drew tried to break it back. Gain of 3. Bernard Pollard with the tackle. Offensively, Jacksonville ranked 23rd in the NFL overall, 28th in passing, 8th in rushing.
Yeah, and up front, Uche Nwaneri played against the guy he's facing right across. 2 very good friends in Amobi Okoye share Nigerian heritage. They're very close friends, but they're going to go face-to-face today. And for the backs and receivers, Mercedes Lewis, the great tight end. He came into this year with 7 career touchdowns. He's got 7 touchdowns in the first half of this year alone.
Second down and 7 at the 45. Garrard out of the shotgun, throws far side. Mike Thomas with the reception. And Thomas picks up 10 yards on the play. Zach Dials with the tackle defensively for Houston, ranked last in total defense, last against the pass, 11th against the run.
Yeah, and it starts with Mario Williams up front. He's got 45.5 career sacks, and it's up to him in this defensive front. As we said in the open, they've got to keep David Garrard in check. Brian Cushing in the linebacking core moves back to the outside. He took over for D'Amico Ryans, who was lost to injury. Didn't work out. He's back outside to his natural position. And Kareem Jackson, the rookie who's been picked on all year, it may continue today.
Play action, Garrard with time. Garrard fires and incomplete. Closest man to the football, Maurice Jones-Drew, and Quinn covering defensively. Mario Williams giving chase.
When you talk about this game, Gus, and you start preparing and learning about these teams and what they've done in the first half, the thing that jumps out at you is Houston has really struggled in pass defense. David Garrard coming off the great game in Dallas, it looked like the Jacksonville Jaguars would score a lot of points. And of course, Houston can really light it up with their offense. You were thinking this game's going to be 55-54 at the end of it all.
Second down and 10 at the 45. Garrard remains in the gun. Here's Garrard underneath, and it's caught. Mike Sims Walker found a crease. Eugene Wilson stops him, but he gains 12 yards on the play.
And this is a quick slant watch, and you'll see the matchup. That's Bryce McCain, who's in the game. And we spoke to Gary Kubiak yesterday, and he said they're going to rotate their defensive backs around. Kareem Jackson's, they're going to give him some rest occasionally to make sure he stays fresh. He's been picked on, and of course on that, McCain is in there for him.
13th catch of the year make that 30th catch of the year for Mike Sims Walker, and they run it. Maurice Jones-Drew, second man through, and Mojo gets to the 26. And that's a 7-yard gain. Earl Mitchell with the tackle. So David Garrard has rebounded from a slow start this year. Garrard threw 5 interceptions in his first 3 games. But in his last 4 games, 9 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. Garrard set a career high 2 weeks ago with 4 touchdown passes in the Jaguars' Week 8 win at Dallas.
Yeah, and we've said it before, we've done the Jaguars a couple of times, Gus. No team in the league plays exactly like their quarterback plays more than the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Second down and 3 at the 27. Maurice Jones-Drew with room. And he goes down to the 25. That's a 2-yard pickup. Zach Dials, Kevin Bentley combining on the tackle. So for Maurice Jones-Drew, not as many touchdowns this year as last year with 16.
Yeah, Gus, I think it comes down to this. Those last 2 years, last year was the first year he did not have Fred Taylor as a complimentary back. He carried the load himself. And I think this year you're seeing a little bit of the results of that. It's hard for a guy to carry the ball that much and come back and have a great year the next year.
Third down and short. Here's the option. Garrard keeps it. David Garrard. Now he pitches it. No, he held on. He gets to the 11. A 14-yard gain. Eugene Wilson with the tackle.
You could see the wheels turning in his mind. He said, well, can I still pitch it? Watch this. Great play. And there you saw it. That was Glover Quinn who had the decision to make. Do I take the quarterback? No, I take the back. And you see there, Garrard thought about pitching it out to Maurice Jones-Drew, decided to keep it. It was probably a smart play. You never want to get too cute after you've got a good play already.
Jaguars pick up a first down at the 11-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew lines up wide.
Well, this is going to be against Jacksonville.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jordan Black. Let's take a look at the red zone story. Both these teams really have trouble defending when their opponents get inside the red zone.
Yeah, it's a chronic problem. You don't get to this point of the season and not just have some real problems down there when teams get close.
9th play of the drive that started at the Jacksonville 28, 1st and 15. Garrard drops back with time, fires sideline, and he has Greg Jones. And Greg Jones wrapped up, slung down by Glover Quinn, but he picked up 6.
Yeah, here in the early going, the Texans are dropping off into coverage. They're making sure they've got the deep ball covered. Watch, it's a 4-man rush, and the linebackers drop out in coverage, and Mario Williams, through effort, just keeps after Garrard. Garrard, with so many defenders, 7 guys in the defensive backfield, has trouble finding somebody to throw to and takes the dump off for no gain.
13 touchdowns, 4 field goals. ranking 8th in the NFL in the red zone. 2nd and 9 at the 10. Garrard again in the end zone. Knocked down. Beautifully done. Bernard Pollard coming over the strong safety and knocking that one out. And there's an injured player. Looks like Osgood.
Yeah, that pass was intended for Osgood. He went out the back of the end zone. And that's always a concern. When you go up to try and catch a high ball, it's not going up that hurts you. It's coming down. Watch, Pollard goes up, and Pollard should have had an interception. And you see there Bentley. It's hard to see what Osgood did. Really nothing there. No real huge contact there, but Osgood really had trouble getting up, and he's still down in the back of the end zone.
So Kasim Osgood, 8-year veteran, trying to collect himself. No score. Jacksonville driving. Kasim Osgood walked off the field on his own. Looked like he got the wind knocked out of him by Kevin Bentley. He's okay. 3rd down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Rashad Jennings checks in for Jacksonville. Here's Garrard under pressure, and Garrard is sacked. Great pressure. Mark Anderson, first man to him, and now David Garrard is down. And David Garrard gets up slowly.
I'll tell you what, he is a tough customer. And it's almost like it, you know, his teammates, they see him get up, they don't even look twice. They just know he's going to be able to get up and continue. But this is a great sack coming right up inside there. And that's Mark Anderson. And of course, Williams and everybody piles on him. No wonder he took a minute to get up.
Brings on Josh Scobie, who has not missed a kick this year from 38 yards away. And it's good. 14 of 14 for Scobie. And Jacksonville on the board first, 3-zip.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new Windows Phone. It's time for a phone to save us from our phones. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Welcome back to the River City, where the Jaguars have taken a 3-0 lead over the Texans. As you take a look at the scoring drive, 38-yard field goal for Scobie, who remains perfect on the season, 14 of 14. And he will send it away back deep, the very dangerous Jacoby Jones. And Jones lets it take a bounce. Got caught in the sun. Jones gets up to the 25. Jacoby Jones stopped by Sean Considine on special teams. A 22-yard return, and here comes the league's top rusher, Arian Foster. Now we get an opportunity to see the Houston Texans offense for the first time, because Jacksonville ate up 6 minutes on their opening drive. Matt Schaub, the leader last year, it was already his team, but when he came back in this game, in this stadium, with a dislocated shoulder to still play, it really became his team. Kevin Walter with the reception at the 41. Rasheed Mathis with the tackle. That's a 16-yard gain. So Matt Schaub last week, 21 of 32, 266, no touchdowns and a pick. He was sacked twice, quarterback rating 78.4, and the Texans did not score on their final 4 drives of the game at home. First down at the 41. Arian Foster in the backfield with Schaub. Play fake. They fire. Andre Johnson, quick screen. And Andre Johnson gets to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line. William Middleton with the tackle, a 5-yard gain. Texans offensively ranked 6th overall in the NFL, 12th in passing, 6th in rushing.
Yeah, and you look at their right tackle, Eric Winston. This offensive line has been shuffled around with injuries in past years. He makes his 63rd consecutive start. In the backs and receivers, it starts with Andre Johnson, 43 receptions, 635 yards, and we told you he's got a bad ankle.
Arian Foster running around the right side, gets outside. Nice little stutter step. And Foster getting close to midfield. Defensively for the Jaguars, ranking 28th overall in the NFL. 28th against the pass, 22nd against the run.
Yeah, Derek Harvey will start out for Aaron Campman. Also, Austin Lane will move in there as well as C.J. Mosley, but they're going to have to rotate to fill that void. Kirk Morris in the middle linebacker. He is a solid veteran, a true leader on this club, a quality individual as well. Rasheem Mathis. He's got 29 career interceptions, but his latest one was in Dallas 2 weeks ago in that blowout.
3rd down and 3 at the 48. Schaub dropping back with time over the middle, and it's caught. Walter, another 1st down for the Texans. He gained 16 on 3rd down and 3. As Don Carey comes up with the tackle.
Yeah, 2 early throws to Walter. You see him on the left of your screen there with Andre Johnson. They cross over, and the middle of the field just empties out for Walter. He moves into the void. Schaub finds him.
Walter averaging 22, make it 12.1 yards per catch on the season. He came into the game with 22 grabs. 1st down and 10 at the 36. 2 catches, 32 yards already for Walter. Play action. Here's a screen. Dreesen goes up high, makes a grab. He's got a blocker in front of him, and he gets out of bounds inside the Jacksonville 20 as Justin Durant tracked him down, but he picked up 14 big ones.
Oh, and a big, big screen pass. And just when the Jacksonville Jaguars wanted to get after Matt Schaub, they let him do just that. They released the defenders up into the backfield. Dreesen slips behind him. And Eric Winston, the guy I just told you about making his 63rd start, leads him down the field.
Joel Dreesen having a very solid year. That's his 14th catch, averaging close to 15 yards per reception. Remember, Owen Daniels is out with a hamstring injury. Foster breaking it. Foster! And Arian Foster slicing and dicing, gets to the 6-yard line. Darrell Smith brings him down, but it's a gain of 14.
And this is why Arian Foster is such a good runner. He's going to come make one cut, and that's all it's going to take. Boom, right there, right up through the alley. You see so many running backs try and decide, where's the hole going to be? Where's it going to be? He makes one decision, sticks his foot in the ground, and finds it.
1st down and goal at the 6. Schaub so far perfect. 4 of 4 out of the offset eye. Leach and Foster in the backfield. Here's Arian Foster. And he goes down at the 5. Gain of 1. Kirk Morris in the middle linebacker. Houston struggled in the red zone in last week's loss to San Diego. The Texans reached the red zone 6 times and manages 2 TDs and 3 field goals. Out of a possible 42 points, Houston scored just 23, and that is not like them.
No, they're very good down in the red zone. Gary Kubiak is the play caller. He has a real gift for it. He's been around the game a long time, and he was a quarterback. He knows what quarterbacks like to do. When you do that, usually you score touchdowns.
2nd down and goal at the 6. Here's Schaub over the middle, incomplete. That ball intended for James Casey. Casey, a 2nd-year tight end out of Rice, went right through his hands. Courtney Green covering.
Yeah, and that's a play that you'd like to see your tight end pull down. Watch as Schaub throws this right in the teeth of a 7-man blitz. And that goes right through his fingertips. Yeah, it was contact. It was a tough catch, but that's a catch you've got to make down close.
3rd down goal at the 6. Trips to the top of your screen. Wide, Arian Foster in motion. Empty backfield for Schaub. Schaub looking. Bounces out of the pocket, throws. Incomplete.
No, you're right, Gus. I thought it got picked off by one of the defenders pursuing out. You see there, that's
pot roast.
Yeah, pot roast. Terrence Knighton coming out. What hustle by the defensive line. You'll see this ball get tipped right there by Cox, and there's pot roast trying to grab it. He doesn't quite get there. We asked him, you think that's kind of a derogatory term? We asked him if it's all right if we call him. He says, yeah, I kind of like that nickname. Great hustle by the big guy. That's when you know your defense is playing hard, Gus.
Neil Rackers comes in 13 of 15 on the season. This field goal attempt will be from 24 yards away. And it's good. 4:31 to play, 1st quarter, and we're tied at 3. Jacksonville, Houston.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
Mayport Naval Air Station here in Jacksonville, and we'd also like to say the MetLife Blimp is providing today's aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife Blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage this season. Game tied at 3 as the Texans send it off. Deji Kareem inside his own 5, crosses the 20, dancing, and goes down to the 24. And that's a return of 21 yards. Stanford Kegler with the tackle. David Garrard on his way back. Neil Rackers with a 24-yard field goal to tie the game up at 3 apiece. 4:22 to go in the first quarter. David Garrard, and he hands it off. Reese Jones-Drew with some hard running between the tackles. Mario Williams first man to him, and it's a gain of 2. CBSSports.com experts are providing the award-winning advice you need to finish strong in your fantasy football league. It's all at fantasynews.cbssports.com.
Is it even like we thought it would be as both teams take their first kickoff, first drive down and score a field goal. These two teams even as even can be coming into today.
Second down at 8 of the 26. Garrard to the sideline and caught. This time it's Zach Miller, and Zach Miller dives forward, gets close to the first down. Kevin Bentley with the tackle. A 7-yard gain.
And I'll tell you what, he caught that, and you could tell how important those 2 extra yards were to him. And he's fighting guys off, fighting for that first down. You see guys play hard. We saw on the last incomplete pass from Matt Schaub how Terrence Knighton hustled from the defensive tackle position out into the secondary to almost intercept it. Now you see a tight end catching it, fighting for just a couple extra yards. At home, Jacksonville playing very tough emotionally.
3rd down and 1, quarterback sneak, and Garrard will use that 236-pound frame to pick up 2. David Garrard, we came in our meeting yesterday. I tell you what, if they called Knighton pot roast, you can call Garrard pork chop.
Yeah.
Because he's got the biggest calves and
big
thighs.
He's big. I mean, you can't. He is a big dude for a quarterback, and he's tough. Gets up, shakes off hits. He's a good runner with the football. Just a great leader for this football team.
First down at 10 at the 36. Mike Thomas, a motion man, play fake. Thomas with a screen pass. Flag on the play. And Mike Thomas picks up 2, but let's see. Bryce McCain makes the tackle for Houston.
It's going to be offsides on Houston.
Offside. Defense, number 56, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Brian Cushing.
Yeah, you talk about quarterbacks and how tough they are. Gus, we were talking about Garrard. This is Cushing lined up in the neutral zone. There's Garrard, you talk about him. It's a really underrated. You say all these guys are tough and all that, but I'll tell you what. It says a lot about your team when your quarterback is going to be there through 16 games of the season. Your quarterback is the guy that you really need to be there, and a tough quarterback makes a difference for a football team.
First down and 5. Flag. And a false start coming up.
Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Okay, so we said they were even. They don't have to prove it. They don't have to get an offsides penalty on defense and then give it back with an illegal procedure on offense. They're trading everything. They're trading field goals. They're trading kickoffs. They're trading penalties.
That's the second false start penalty called against the Jaguars to start this game. So first down and 10 again. At the 36. Garrard, short drop, underneath, caught, nicely done. And that is Zach Miller again Quinn with the tackle, a 10-yard gain. Tennessee taking on Miami today. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
Gus and Steve, Avonte Davis pass interference call against Randy Moss, a 33-yarder, sets up this Chris Johnson 17-yard sprint to pay dirt. Chris Johnson to be the beneficiary of Randy Moss's addition. 7-all in Miami. Back to Gus Johnson and Steve Tasker.
All right, so Randy Moss in the AFC South now with Tennessee. Big-time weapon if he can gel with Jeff Fisher. And Chris Johnson, first down and 10 at the 46. Here's a reverse. Mike Thomas stood up, taken down. Great defense. Troy Nolan says, not on my side. Second-year player out of Arizona State, and that's a loss of 2.
Yeah, Houston does an excellent job keeping great. You see Pollard coming out, and of course Nolan, who makes the play. Defenders all over the place. That's one of the things, Gus. A team really has to show they're vulnerable to the end around, to the misdirection, because they're so fast at this level. Even if you do catch them off guard, if anything doesn't develop fast enough, they'll recover very quickly. In that case, Texans were all over that play.
Second down and 12 at the 44. Gerard, that one deflected at the line of scrimmage. It's picked up, live ball, as I believe it was Glover Quinn got a hand on the football, and Mike Thomas picked it up.
Yeah, they let that play proceed. Yeah, they let that play continue because there was a question as to whether Gerard threw it backwards. He did not. It was batted backwards.
So they call it an incomplete pass, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter with the score. Houston 3 and the Jaguars 3.
You'll see there the pass was actually going forward, and the officials let it continue because they weren't quite sure. And they're going to put a second or two back on the clock, so that was not the last play of the quarter, it seems.
Due to the fact that the ruling on the field was an incomplete forward pass, the game clock will be reset to 7 seconds. We have 7 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It'll be third down, Jacksonville.
So for Jack Del Rio, David Garrard, his quarterback, has completed 68% of his passes on third down. That's second best in the NFL. Ryan Fitzpatrick with the Buffalo Bills has completed 68.7%. So on 3rd and 12 at the 44, Garrard lines up in the shotgun. Fires. Incomplete. Garrard under pressure. Mario Williams rushing the passer. And that will force this Jaguars team to punt it away with 3 seconds remaining in the quarter.
And Gerard dropping back. You see Mario Williams going to come right in from the right side of your screen and gets his hand right on Gerard. And that's why the incompletion, but Mario Williams working against Jordan Black, right tackle.
Adam Podlish will punt it away from the 31. And back deep, Jacoby Jones having some problems with the sun. Podlish angling it toward the near side, and Jones with the fair catch at the 10, a 46-yard punt. So we come to the end of the first quarter. We're tied at 3. We'll return to Jacksonville after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The new NFL.com mobile apps are here. No matter where you are, you could stay in the game all season long. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. So Matt Schaub and the Texans take over at the 11-yard line. Vontae Lee, Jarian Foster in the backfield. Play fake. And this one thrown to Andre Johnson, who lost it. And the ball picked up, but an incomplete pass is the ruling on the field.
And I think Andre Johnson threw that ball on the ground. I don't think he wanted to catch it. He realized he was going to get tackled immediately. It was going to be a 5-yard loss, and he dropped that ball purposely to keep from making that play. Watch as he'll have this. Schaub sees it. This is well defended by Cox. And he sees got it. He just lets it go. Great play by Andre Johnson for the incomplete pass.
Second down and 10 at the 11. Foster. And Foster lowering his shoulder as he gets to maybe the 12 or 13-yard line, 2-yard gain.
It's rare you got a player that has his lights on like Andre Johnson did on that last play. He knew he was going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. He dropped it, and they ended up 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 15. And they had the opportunity to hand it off to Foster. And this is where the Texans have been so good, though. 3rd and long, they're very good on 3rd down. They stay on the field, and Schaub is the reason.
3rd down and 8 at the 13. 1 of 2 on conversion so far. Here's a handoff, and they won't get it. Texans electing to play it conservatively on that play, and it's a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, and this is just either a tendency breaker or just like you said, guys, just play it conservative. It's early in the game. Let's not do anything silly to give them an opportunity to get a touchdown or a turnover in our own end. Let Matt Turk come out and kick it away.
Turk punting it from the 1-yard line. And Mike Thomas is back deep at his own 31. Beautiful punt. Great hang time. And Thomas with the fair catch at the 36. 49-yard punt for 15-year veteran Matt Turk. Wednesday on CBS, winning this case will take a lot of patience, a little luck, and a touch of magic. Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller guest stars on the Defenders Wednesday, only CBS. 1st down and 10 at the 36-yard line. Rick Jones, Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. Garrard fires over the middle. Mike Thomas. Great throw by Garrard. Wilson stops him, and that's a gain of 28 yards.
Yeah, this is a deep post route. You see he's been defended by Quinn, and he's going to make the break in. And watch Wilson come in at the end of this and just hammer him. Goes high, not a helmet to helmet, but you know, with the new rules in the league, it's the defender there, Wilson, who actually got the worst of that contact with Thomas.
Inside handoff, Jones straight ahead. Let's take a look at the hit in real speed.
You can see why it took him a second to get off the ground. Mike Thomas, he's big enough. I mean, he weighs 200 pounds. And it's not so much the size of these guys, Gus, that hasn't changed all that much over the last 10 years, but the speed continues to get faster and faster.
2nd down and 7 at the 34. Thomas in motion. And some movement. Mike Sims Walker. Number 11 at the bottom. Forgot the snap count.
False start. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars had what they wanted. Watch David Garrard. Well, you see there, that's just too early. You see he knows it. But they had what they wanted in the interior of the line. The defensive line of the Texans jumped off sides as well. But when Sims Walker moved, it negates that.
Mike Sims Walker having a wonderful season. He's become the go-to man for David Garrard. 2 weeks ago, he had 8 catches for 153 yards against the Dallas Cowboys. 2nd and 12 at the 39. Garrard over the middle, incomplete. Ball intended for Mercedes Lewis, but Zach Dials was right on his heels. No flag.
Yeah, Lewis wanted a call because Zach Dials may have had a hold of him before the ball got there, trying to keep up with him, make sure he can get around in front of him. You see there, watch right here's Lewis coming in. And that's a good no call. I mean, he did have his hands on him, but I don't think he gained an advantage by it. Jack Del Rio obviously wants the call, but I think that's a good no call by the officials.
11:42 to play in the 2nd quarter. Game tied at 3. 2 struggling defenses playing well today. So far, 3rd and 12. Garrard down the sideline. Incomplete. Tyquan Underwood, the 2nd-year receiver out of Rutgers, couldn't keep both feet in bounds. Bernard Pollard and Bryce McCain covering defensively for Houston.
Well, they called this out of bounds because Underwood came down and his foot came down out of bounds. Watch as he leaps up. And you see his foot's clear out on the white stripe. His left foot is going to come down. It's a great catch. You can't really see it there. But his left foot was not in the field of play.
Adam Potlish punting for the second time. Jacoby Jones stands at the 10. End over end, Darren Bennett, Ozzie kick. And it's fielded at the 11-yard line, a 28-yard punt. Game tied at 3 at Jacksonville. Back after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. We understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx. Wells Fargo Advisors. And by Acura. The most innovative thinking you'll find in an Acura.
Welcome back. First down and 10 at the 12-yard line for the Texans. And another false start penalty coming up against Houston.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now coming up on the Sprint halftime report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Gary Kubiak, we talked to him yesterday, and he's searching for answers, just trying to find the right combination to get his team back on the right track. First down and a long 15 at the 7. Schaub. The ball is caught. Andre Johnson dives forward, gets close to the 20. As Darrell Smith makes the tackle, and it's a gain of 9.
That's been the problem for both these clubs. Jacksonville on defense, rushing 4 guys, dropping everybody into coverage, making sure someone, anyone, is all over Andre Johnson. They left Kevin Walter uncovered early in the game, but they seem to have shored that up. Both teams dropping guys into coverage, not really coming with too much pressure.
Second down. Play fake. Schaub sets up deep. Schaub. Incomplete. Vontae Leach, closest man to the football, and that'll bring up third down.
You know, this game has really taken a turn unexpectedly, I think. I think both these clubs, particularly the Texans, thought the Jacksonville Jaguars would come with some pressure, a little more pressure to get Schaub uncomfortable. They know they'd like to take shots down the field, but what happened was the Texans hit him with a screen pass early in the game, and once they did that, the Jaguars stopped bringing all those guys in pressure.
Third down 5 at the 17. They need to go to the 22 for a first down. Matt Schaub over the middle, incomplete. Jacoby Jones, the intended receiver, had that one knocked out of his hands by William Middleton. And Houston will have to punt it once again.
Great defensive stand. You'll see here they rush 4 guys. Everybody's manned up with 2 safeties over the top. There you have it. Great coverage by Middleton. There's just too many guys in that defensive secondary for quarterbacks to find a gap.
Turk punting inside his own 5. Mike Thomas comes up to field this one at the 47 and wrestled down at the 48. A 36-yard punt, only a 1-yard return. Game tied at 3. Back after this. Welcome back. Game tied at 3. Both David Garrard and Matt Schaub, both offenses actually having problems moving the football. The defense is, Steve, playing an improved game here in the first half. First down and 10 to the 48. They hand it off Maurice Jones-Drew over the left side. And he gains 4. Tackled by Zach Dials.
That's a tough run against 8 guys in the box. The Houston Texans packing everybody in and around it. The Jacksonville Jaguars with 1 wideout split out to the right of the formation. That lets the Houston Texans put everybody in the box. Still a pretty good run against that many guys up front, but it's not something you're going to make a lot of headway doing.
Second down at 6 at the 49. Jones and Jones-Drew in the backfield. Maurice Jones-Drew with running room. And Mojo gets inside the 40. Stopped by Quinn, but he gains 11 yards on the play.
And you look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a guy back there, and the Jacksonville Jaguars with the misdirection still get good yardage out of it. That's a huge play for Jacksonville, running against that many guys in the box right up between the guards.
Great block by fullback Greg Jones. First down and 10 at the 38. Jones the motion man. Mojo again. And Maurice Jones-Drew powers his way to the 30. Zach Dials with first contact, and he gains 7 yards.
Well, when you start to see this, now you can tell Jacksonville went over to the sideline and said, hey, wait a minute. Let's stop throwing the football all over the joint. Let's hand it off and see what we can do. And they did a nice job, a very nice job pushing that football up. An 8-yard carry again against a stacked box inside that line of scrimmage. Houston putting everybody in there, still can't stop it.
Second down and 3. Jones-Drew, and this time he'll go nowhere. Brian Cushing hopped on his back, took a ride. That's UCLA versus USC. Cushing going to USC, and Maurice Jones-Drew going to UCLA.
Right. And I'll tell you what, both those guys wear that with very much with pride. That label of the college, that is a big thing to both of them.
Maurice Jones-Drew, we had a chance to see him yesterday in the cafeteria. Jaguars treated us to breakfast, and all he could talk about was how good the UCLA football team is doing, how great the basketball team is going to be, and how UCLA was coming back. Third down and 2 at the 30. Here's a pitch. He gets outside. And Maurice Jones-Drew out of bounds at the 15. Eugene Wilson there to usher him out of bounds, but that's a gain of 15. Maurice Jones-Drew really running the ball well last few plays.
Mario Williams is responsible for outside contain. Watch what happens when you match him up with Maurice Jones-Drew. He takes a wrong step, and Jones-Drew just outruns him. The only way Mario Williams could do that if he gets deep penetration, but he doesn't because of the inside motion. He takes a sideways step instead of an upfield step. That would have been his only chance to stop that one.
Mojo, 11 yards, 7 yards, 1 yard, 15 yards his last 4 carries. They give it to him again. No, this time it's Jennings. And Jennings picks up 9 yards. And Mike Sims-Walker is hurt.
Yeah, Jennings came in and fell up against Sims-Walker's leg. That's a big problem. When you've got your wide receivers, they're very important in the run game. They've got to continue to block down the field. But the problem is that they've got their backs to the runner, and they can't see him coming, and they can't lift it up. And when the runner, not deliberately, gets tackled into the back of his legs, it's always an issue. It's one thing receivers fear a lot in the run game. Watch as he comes out. This is exactly what he's supposed to do. You see, he can't see where the runner is, and he gets rolled up on by his own guy. That's one thing wide receiver coaches fight against all the time. Guys just don't want to turn their back on the play when it's coming up behind them. And they'll let a block go because they don't want to get this into the back of their leg.
Mike Sims-Walker just having such a terrific year, and what a charming, polite, and just good young man. And we talked to him yesterday at the Jaguars facility.
Yeah,
and fortunately he's on his feet, and hopefully he can walk that off.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Best Buy. Get the best tech gifts this holiday from Best Buy. And by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
Welcome back. Mike Sims-Walker jogged off the field. He did have a slight limp. He's trying to walk it off on the sideline. We'll report to you on his condition as soon as we know something. Second down and 2 at the 7-yard line. Jones and Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. I formation. The pitch, Mojo. And he goes down at the 4. As Brian Cushing comes over to make the tackle, 2-yard gain.
Looks like they're going to give him the first down inside the 5-yard line, and neither team has had much success in the red zone at this early juncture of the game, but Looks bad for Houston right here because the reason this looks like a more promising attempt inside the red zone is the way that Jacksonville's been running the football. I mean, they have just been pounding it on this drive.
Jacksonville with 89 rushing yards so far, 150 total yards. First down and goal at the 4. Maurice Jones-Drew. And he tries to lean forward. Cushing on top of him. As Quinn actually came up with the tackle, grabbed his ankle.
And really no reason to change anything. It's a nice drive. 7 rushes for 42 yards on this drive alone for Maurice Jones-Drew, and they're down inside the 5. You know they're going to give it to him at least once more.
2 weeks ago at Dallas, 27 carries, 135 yards. So far, 7 carries, 40 yards, second and goal. They pitch it. Maurice Jones-Drew looking. Touchdown.
Well, the Houston Texans run a stretch play, but the Jacksonville Jaguars run the pitch. They come out, let Jones-Drew look at the defense, pick his crease, and then power his way in. Well blocked up front by Mercedes Lewis, Jordan Black, Waneri. Great job by the right side.
Extra point up and good for Josh Scobie. 5:32 to play in the second quarter. 8 career touchdowns against the Texans, and the Jags take a 10-3 lead at home. Welcome back. Maurice Jones-Drew makes it a 10-3 game.
There you see 9 plays, 52 yards, 5 runs. 9 plays, every single one of them was a run. And I'll tell you, that fact is not lost on the Houston sideline.
Second rushing touchdown of the season for Maurice Jones-Drew.
He ran the ball 8 of those 9 plays for 43 yards. That is a statement drive.
Very disciplined drive by Jacksonville as Josh Scobie prepares to send this one right into your living room. Jacoby Jones takes a knee in the end zone. So the Texans will start from the 20. Tonight on CBS, the kingpin Lucky Strike Bowling goes undercover. You can't miss an all-new Undercover Boss tonight, only CBS. Jack Del Rio, former USC great as well, has his team at 4-4. Gave him some days off after the bye week to get their minds and bodies together. And he told us they really came back refreshed. Arian Foster, no room straight up the middle, maybe a yard.
You can
now, how important is that, Steve, for your coach to, give you a couple extra days during the bye week to collect yourself, especially when they understood that they had to come back ready?
Well, no question, and they earned it. They beat Dallas. That was the thing. That was the carrot that Del Rio held out in front of them. And I'll tell you what, too, their bye came right at the right time, right halfway during the season. Gave them a chance to recharge, a couple extra days off. I think this Jacksonville team really came back refreshed.
Second down and 9 to the 21, and some movement on the offensive line.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Brizell, Mike Brizell. Second time he's had a false start penalty in this game.
But there's no question, I think Jacksonville really has to feel a lot fresher. There's no question, when you take a week off as a player during the season, if you're deactivated or for an injury, it's an eternity. It feels like forever since the last time you played. And when you get it off, when the whole team takes it off, you come back, everything is refreshed, and I think they came back very well for Jack Del Rio.
Second down and 14 at the 16. Schaub, flag on the play. That Schaub dancing around, and he gets rid of it. Closest man to the football, Arian Foster, guarded by Darrell Smith.
Yeah, this was a free play for the offense.
Offside. Defense. Number 59 was in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
They traded penalties again.
That's Larry Hart. the rookie out of Central Arkansas.
You can't miss it. I mean, he just gets into the neutral zone early. Then it gives a free play to the offense. Matt Schaub could have thrown that one right into the arms of Rasheed Mathis and let him run for a touchdown. It wouldn't have counted.
2nd down and 9 to the 21 out of the offset eye. Leach and Foster. Schaub. Oh, beautiful catch. And that is Kevin Walter at the 30-yard line. A 9-yard gain in front of Rasheed Mathis.
Now that was a great catch. Looking back into the sun, comes out, takes an outside release, and then has to jump outside to make the catch. The Houston Texans doing a nice job of putting guys in motion and using Walter and Andre Johnson together. They'll line up and then cross at the snap. They'll switch places at the snap, which is one more way to confuse the defensive secondary.
3 catches, 40 yards for Walter. 3rd and 1 at the 29. Foster leans forward. And the Texans feel that they have the 1st down. Jeremy Mincey defensively from Jacksonville.
Just got the nose over the 30-yard line, which was the line to gain. And you can see in this play, Houston using the motion of Walter to come in, try and cut the backside pursuit of Mincey to make sure that nobody gets to Arian Foster before he can get over the line.
Houston, a perfect 13 for 13 on 3rd and 1 situations this season. They pick up a fresh set of downs at the 30-yard line. Play fake. Schaub in trouble. And Schaub got rid of it at the very end, but Jeremy Mincey putting a lot of pressure on him and sends him to the ground.
Yeah, and that's a great job by Schaub just getting rid of that football. Dreesen was in the area where he threw that. No question he was throwing this away, but because Dreesen was right here, Mincey does not get the sack because of Matt Schaub being a smart quarterback.
Schaub has missed 6 of his last 7. 2nd down and 10 at the 30. Foster. And Foster nowhere to run. No gain on the play. And I'll tell you what, Steve, nobody expected this kind of game from these two teams. We thought it'd be a shootout coming in.
We certainly did, particularly since the offense for Houston has been so productive and the defense for Houston has not been. So you figure Jacksonville's offense going to make some hay, which they have, 10 points. But Houston has been stymied. And if you look at the last couple of games with Houston, their Monday night loss to Indianapolis and in Indianapolis, then losing to San Diego, this offense has started to go a little bit sideways in this past few weeks.
3rd down and 10 at the 30. Schaub in the shotgun. That Schaub crossing route. Andre Johnson, and he gets stumped. Beautiful tackle by Courtney Green. Only a 5-yard gain, and that will force the Texans to punt it away. Brings us to the 2-minute warning. Jacksonville up 10-3. Jacksonville defense ranked 28th overall in the NFL, doing a nice job so far limiting this Houston Texans offense. Matt Turk comes in to punt it away, his 3rd straight punt. And Mike Thomas back deep.
It's interesting, last time Matt Turk punted, he wasn't happy with the punt. He went down after the return, grabbed the ball and took it out of play. He didn't like the ball at all. We'll see if this kicking ball is a little better than the last one he hit.
From the 21, Turk. And this one off the side of his foot. He won't be able to blame the ball this time. Out of bounds. At the 45-yard line. A 20-yard punt.
Let's see, watch. He's going to drop this. And he's trying to kick it to the right-hand sideline. And it looked like he short-legged it because of the pressure coming in from Jennings. Rashad Jennings rushing the punt.
So that gives Jacksonville great field position at the 45. A minute 51 remaining, 3 timeouts left. Maurice Jones-Drew. And he'll get 8 yards on the play. Quinn with the tackle. And Mojo's really been playing well as you take a look. Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, as we spoke last time, 9 plays on this drive, 8 of them were this guy, Maurice Jones-Drew. He keeps running like this. He may weigh $110 after this game. He's running so much. They're handing him the football all the time.
13 carries, 66 yards as he leans forward. Cushing, 2-yard gain. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report.
Maybe the Jaguars aren't even going to huddle up. They're going to try and spread it out now.
First down and 10 at the 45. Gerard to the sideline. Mercedes Lewis out of bounds at the 40. Bryce McCain pushes him out of bounds.
You know, and people always ask, well, why don't you just keep running it? Why don't you just keep running it? You're doing great. Well, you can't just run it every play. Even Maurice Jones-Drew needs a drink of water once in a while. But when you've got Mercedes Lewis, and this is not really a high percentage. I mean, you're going to complete that. A little quick out. Mercedes Lewis is 6'7". Just throw it out there in the zip code. Let him catch it.
Second down and 5 at the 40. Gerard. Nice throw. Mike Thomas. Woo! Pollard leveled it. But it's a 13-yard gain. He holds on to the football. 48 seconds to play in the first half. Jacksonville driving. Bernard Pollard, the former Kansas City Chief who has found a great home in Houston, will hit you all day long. First down and 10, though, for Jacksonville at the Houston 27. And this ball caught by Maurice Jones-Drew out of bounds at the 20. And he's hit way late. Troy Nolan. And that's going to be a penalty flag called against Houston for a late hit.
Yeah, and it was a late hit. It wasn't a vicious hit, but Nolan hit him out of bounds and then took him to the ground outside the stripe.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 33. Late hit out of bounds. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
You'll see it. There he's out of bounds. Then he hits him out of bounds. And then as he goes, then he grabs his legs and pulls him to the ground. Right there, he's out of bounds. So that technically could have been hit. Then to take him to the ground is just extracurricular. You can tell. From the blimp, you can tell this is an out of bounds hit. Come on. That's a good call by the official and an easy one.
First down and goal at the 9-yard line for Jacksonville. Inside handoff, Mojo rising. A 9-yard touchdown. And Jacksonville takes a 16-3 lead.
They came out with a very physical statement drive. Their last possession came out with the same kind of opening, handed it off twice for a first down, and then went to the short pass. The Houston Texans have no answer right now for Jacksonville. Jacksonville's too efficient and too physical.
Maurice Jones-Drew, 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half. Extra point is good. No secret here. Running right between the tackles.
Great work up front by the offensive line. Vince Manawai moving over to the right side, kicking out the defender, and Maurice Jones-Drew cutting right back inside of him. A great job up front. And there you see the receivers blocking right at the goal line to get him in that last yard.
Little shimmy shake by Maurice Jones-Drew.
I'll give it a 6.
Oh,
Come on. It was a repeat. You guys do something new next time.
9 career touchdowns against the Texans. And unfortunately for Troy Nolan, got that personal foul penalty. Late hit. And that got the Jaguars even closer. So with 38 seconds to play in the first half, Jacksonville takes a 17-3 lead. Josh Colby kicking off for Jacksonville. Jacoby Jones back deep. Jones brings it out of his own end zone. Chopped his feet. Goes down at the 12. Kasim Osgood back in the game. Makes a tackle on special teams, a 9-yard return.
As Mojo goes into the end zone. Oh, I like it. It's original. All right, I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay, that's good.
7.5 up from the 6. Like the finish too. He stuck the landing.
As you take a look at the scoring summary, good job, Steve. 6 plays, 55 yards. Maurice Jones-Drew with the second touchdown of the day. First down and 10 at the 14 for the Texans. Andre Johnson crunched. This Jacksonville team, Sean Considine with the tackle, really hitting hard. They do look fresh, Steve.
Yeah, and the Houston Texans look a little bit disconcerted right now. They're in their 2-minute, 5-wide offense. We'll see if they can have some production.
Schaub. And Schaub to Jacoby Jones. 9 seconds to go. 5-yard gain. Houston with 3 timeouts left, and they do not want to use any of them, and that'll take us to the end of the half.
Now somebody, you got to question that. Why would you come out in a hurry-up offense with 3 timeouts and not use them if you really wanted to make something happen?
17-3 the score at halftime. Jacksonville will be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL. Jaguars with the lead over the Texans as we prepare for the second half. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker, and partner, that first half didn't go according to what we thought it would turn out to be.
It did for the Jaguars. 17 points is a pretty good outing. For the Texans, they have not been able to get on track offensively at all, and the running game has really been the difference for Jacksonville. If you look at the points of protection, I mean, you think, that it was going to be more of big play kind of offense. As you look down, nobody's turned the football over. Maurice Jones-Drew's really started to take over the game. 15 rushes for 77 yards and a couple of touchdowns. David Garrard has not been sacked yet. Andre Johnson and Arian Foster, only 46 combined yards. That is the story of the game.
Points of protection presented by Allstate. And for the Houston Texans, 107 total yards, 22 rushing yards, 85 passing yards in the first half.
Now they are a second half team. They've come from behind a couple of times this year. They've scored late to beat Kansas City. They won in overtime at Washington, and both those games coming from 10 points down in the fourth quarter. But there's no question they have not found their rhythm offensively, and give large measure of the credit to the Jacksonville defense.
So the Texans will have it to start the second half. Jacoby Jones is back deep. And Jones will let it take a bounce, and it bounces out of the end zone. So for the Texans this season, when it comes to scoring in the second half, they're at the top of the list.
Yeah, you see those teams are all having a pretty good season. San Diego is the one that slows start, and they do the same thing within games. They also come from behind in late in games. Gary Kubiak's looking at that card, trying to pick some plays. You can bet they made some adjustments at halftime, trying to find a way to get the football down the field.
First down and 10 to the 20 for Matt Schaub. 9-15 in the first half, 85 yards. Schaub sets up a screen. Foster with running room. A flag on the play, though. Foster, breakaway speed. Can he get there? Matt is chasing him. Foster all the way into the end zone. And they mark him out of bounds inside the 5, but let's see the flag.
The players don't seem to know either. Now the Texans are walking back up the field. This looks like it's going to be against Houston.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 80. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
That's Andre Johnson, negates a 76-yard run.
Well, he's throwing a block before the ball was in the air. And that is the reason for the penalty.
So offensive pass interference.
And that really, what a great way to start the second half for the Houston Texans, and then to have it come all the way back. That gets you right back in the football game. And yet, now they're backed up inside their 10-yard line.
First down and 20. Derek Ward comes in to spell Foster. Schaub, and this time he finds Johnson on a crossing route. And Johnson out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Courtney Green with the tackle. And it's a gain of 20.
Here's the play. Johnson right here. Watch as he comes off the ball. He picks off the linebacker, and that, of course, that's Smith. And he blocked Smith and wouldn't let him get out to Arian Foster, which, of course, sprang Foster for the long run. That's a good call by the official.
First down and 10, the toss. Ward. And Ward dives forward, gets to the 34. Potros, Terrence Knighton with the tackle, a 3-yard gain. Boy, was he nice to talk to yesterday. Just a young man from the Connecticut area who went to Temple. He has really found a home and has developing into a leader on this team. As a matter of fact, he spoke to the team for the first time in his career yesterday.
He was nervous about it.
Second down and 7 at the 34. Play action. Schaub down the field. Johnson got it. Andre Johnson down at the 5-yard line. Matt Schaub hits him for 60, and the Texans have it at the 5.
It takes Matt Schaub so long to get out of this, and then to find Johnson down the field. You see the shadow of the football come into the picture. This was a great play fake to begin with. It gave Schaub all kinds of time. But Johnson, because the play took so long, the receivers always outrun the football, and they have to wait on it.
6 catches, 105 yards for Andre Johnson. Foster, stutter step, and he goes down. 1-yard gain. Kirk Morrison, former Oakland Raider in his first year with Jacksonville, comes up with the tackle.
Yeah, and we saw the Jacksonville Jaguars run that pitch play down close in the first half, and that's the stretch play that Houston uses to kind of accomplish the same thing. Get the defense running sideways and then let the back pick his own spot. In that case, Morrison closed the spot that Foster picked and made the tackle.
Second down and goal at the 5. Leach, Foster line up in the I formation. Walter in motion. Foster looking, dives forward, and he gets close to the goal line. Darryl Smith kept him out of the end zone. That's a 4-yard pickup from the 5-yard line.
Yeah, he got it. He did get this ball across the plane, but the official said that his knee was down before he extended. You see there, that ball got to the front edge of that white line, but they did not give him the touchdown because they felt his knees were down before he reached for it, and that's a good call. His knee was down before the ball was extended.
Third down play. Goal at the 1. Double tight ends for Houston. Foster again, breaks it back. Touchdown, Texans.
Great backs all have a nose for the goal line. You saw that play being designed to go out to the right. He just stopped and said, I took it back to the left. Watch, he's going out, and then he just stops and puts it back towards the center of the field. You see how the defense does get over there. They see the same thing that Foster does, but he stops, changes direction, and gets into the end zone. Great nose for the end zone, Arian Foster.
10th touchdown run of the season for Arian Foster as Neil Rackers comes in to attempt the extra point, and it's good. 6 plays, 80 yards. Texans eat up 341. The big play, a 60-yard completion to that man. Houston comes back, makes it a 7-point game here in the third quarter. Neil Racker sending it away to Deji Kareem. Brings it out of the end zone. He crosses the 25 and gets to the 27. Darryl Sharpton with the tackle, a 28-yard return. Steve, they tell me you have double vision.
Well, here it is, right here. You can enjoy it as well. Here's Andre Johnson at the top, Matt Schaub at the bottom. You see how far Matt Schaub has to go after the play fake. That's all the time it takes for Andre Johnson to outrun his arm. I mean, these guys, the receivers, can run so far. If Schaub could have gotten out there a little quicker and thrown a little sooner, that might have gone for a touchdown. Otherwise, it's just a huge play.
First down at the 27-yard line. Garrard, short drop to the sideline. Mike Sims-Walker back in the game. Good sign for Jacksonville after going out in the first half with what looked like a knee injury. He walked it off and is back in. Quinn and Bernard Pollard tackle, a 9-yard gain.
Now it's up to Jacksonville to come back. They had an excellent second quarter, came out, pounded the football right at the Houston Texans, dominated the line of scrimmage, handed it off to Jones-Drew, and then hit him with the short pass, scored a couple of touchdowns. Now after adjustments at halftime, we'll see if they can continue it.
Jones-Drew, 15 carries, 77 yards in the first half. They give it to him straight ahead, and he spins down at the 45. Bernard Pollard with the saving tackle, because if he could have gotten away from the safety, he had nothing but green in front of him.
Yeah, you'll watch. He's going to come right down here, and Bernard Pollard is going to have to make the touchdown saving tackle right there. And if you can see the size of that hole come out as Maurice Jones-Drew just cuts it back up inside the middle, and that's where he's done most of his damage, right between the tackles.
9-yard gain, first down. Jones-Drew again. And this time he'll gain 3 yards. Brian Cushing.
When I came into the league, the guys I came in with were the guys who were young players with Earl Campbell. And they said, a lot like Maurice Jones-Drew, when those guys get to the fourth quarter, those defenders just get tired of tackling them. They are such physical runners, they start to flinch a little bit, and they start to tackle a little softer, and they start to try and wrestle him to the ground rather than hit him. And those 2-yard gains turn into 5- and 6-yard gains and touchdown runs.
2nd and 7 at the 48. David Garrard in trouble. Garrard sacked. Great pressure by the Houston Texans. Mario Williams with the sack, second of the day. Brian Cushing there as well.
Well, I think this is David Garrard trying to be something he's not. When that happens, he just hesitates a little bit. He doesn't tuck that football and run quickly enough. No question, the Texans bring a 5-man rush. They've got good pressure. Right there, David Garrard didn't see it in time and break contain. If he can do that, he can still make a positive. But I think he was really thinking still about trying to throw it, and it was too late.
Amobi Okoye also in on that play. 3rd down and 14, over the middle, incomplete. Wow, Mike Sims-Walker dropped one, and David Garrard hanging in there until the last moment is taking a beating.
What a great play by David Garrard, and he was just let down by Mike Sims-Walker right there, right in his breadbasket.
But you know what? You got Bernard Pollard coming across the top, and that'll make anybody flinch, Steve.
I understand it, but you can't let that happen. I get it.
Jacoby Jones back deep. Lets it go over his head and out of the end zone. 8:40 to play in the third. Texans getting the pass rush on Garrard. 7-point game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Walmart. Save money. Live better. Walmart. And by the new 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
Come on, Detroit.
We want to thank the MetLife Blimp for providing aerial coverage of all the drama below. Look for the MetLife Blimps, Snoopy 1 and 2, when they pass through a town near you. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker. Here come the Texans, down now 17-10. First down at their own 20. Schaub, play fake. Schaub, and he skips that one to Vontae Leach.
The secondary of the Jaguars doing an excellent job today. The pass rush hasn't been as fierce as they would like at Jacksonville, but the coverage in the back of the defense has been outstanding. The linebackers dropping right back into the right zones. They're getting the double team on the right guy in the pass coverage, and Matt Schaub is really having a hard time finding anybody.
Second down and 10 at the 20. Andre Johnson goes in motion. Schaub looks that way, finds him. And Johnson tries to turn it up. It's chopped down at the 33. 13-yard gain. Derek Cox makes the tackle.
And they bring Johnson in motion, and what that does is makes him hard to find. It gets him the matchup with Cox, but they've got to find him. They can't anticipate where Johnson's going to end up in the formation, so it's harder to double team him. And that single coverage is just too easy to beat.
Arian Foster with a lane. Foster accelerates through the hole and gets to the 47. A 13-yard gain. Justin Durant. Steve, how can a kid like this, he's in his second year out of Tennessee, go undrafted? What happened? How do the experts miss on a young man that comes into the league and is now the top rusher?
They miss all the time. They always miss somebody. And it's rare that a guy like that gets missed, but it happens all the time, every year.
First down and 10 at the 36. This time Ward comes in. But it also, I think, has something to do, Courtney Green, with the tackle, with the system. When you look at this Gary Kubiak system, which comes from Mike Shanahan, in Denver, Mike Shanahan would have a 1,000-yard running back every year. He'd find a guy off the street,
and then they'd kick him out and get another guy.
Yeah. Well, and that's not to take anything away from Arian.
Well, he's a good runner, and I'll tell you what, there are 31 other teams in the league who would sign him up in a minute right now.
Second down and 4 at the 48. Ward. And Ward leans forward. Picks up 2 yards on the play.
Ward, the ball carrier.
Spot roast Terrence Knight with the tackle.
You brought up a good point. Arian Foster has put up MVP-type numbers. He hasn't been mentioned in that, but look at this. He leads all players, that includes kickers, in points in the second half of games.
All the rest of those players are kickers.
Yeah. Oh, no running back, no wide receiver. Nobody can touch this guy for the number of times he gets to the end zone in the second half of games. And let's face it, the second half's the most important half.
Third down and 2 at the 46. Foster back in the game. Texans 3 of 7 on conversions. Flag on the play. Schaub underneath, and it's caught by Mr. Anderson. David Anderson with the reception, a 19-yard gain, but let's see.
Yeah, this is going to be against the Texans. It'll be, against Jacksonville.
Defense number 93. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Tyson Alualu, the rookie.
Yes, right here. He's just going to jump in just before the snap, and that's what causes the offensive. Right here, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter that Wade Smith had to stand up, and that's a reaction. And Alualu was in the neutral zone.
David Anderson coming in. First down now, the 27. Schaub dropping, looking, fires, caught again. And this time it's James Casey. Stopped by Courtney Green, an 18-yard pickup.
Well, Casey dropped a touchdown at the goal line in the first half. He makes up for it right here. Nice little crossing pass. Good stick on the crossing move. And all of a sudden, the Texans come out after halftime, and they look like a different team in a different game.
First down and goal to the 9-yard line. Texans down by 7. Arian Foster. Lone back. Play action. Schaub. End zone. Touchdown. Andre Johnson. And with 5:10 remaining in the third quarter, Houston will line up, trying to tie this game at 17.
And we spoke about it in the open, Gus. Everything it's better because of Arian Foster. Now, with the play fake, look at Rashean Mathis. He just leaves. Just absolutely leaves with the play fake. And Andre Johnson is by himself. Rashean Mathis took a gamble and lost.
4th receiving touchdown of the season for Andre Johnson. Extra point up, bad, good. 8 catches, 127 for the natural Andre Johnson, and we have a tie ball game, 17 apiece. Eight plays, 80 yards. Back-to-back 80-yard drives for the Houston Texans to now tie the game up at 17. Schaub, 6 of 7 in the second half, 140 yards and a touchdown. Rackers line drive. Out of the end zone. Jacksonville will have it at the 20, and let's take another look at the touchdown, Steve.
Well, we noticed that Rashean Mathis bit on the play flake. Watch both Mathis and watch the attention that Arian Foster dictates from this. He's been running the football. He's been a dominant force in this game, and all of a sudden, everybody wants to go make the tackle, and they forget Andre Johnson in the corner of the end zone. Rashean Mathis has got him in coverage, and he sees the play fake and just believes it. He bites on that like a fish on a hook, and it was Andre Johnson who made the catch.
So let's see if the Jaguars can respond. Garrard, sideline. Mike Thomas at the 30, and he goes down. Glover Quinn with the stop. It's an 11-yard gain. Mike Thomas has quietly had a very nice game. 4 catches, 61.
Yeah, David Garrard, no hurry. And then when the ball comes out on time, pass pressure ceases to be an issue. If he's going to drop back and just get rid of it, it's going to be hard for the Texans' front 4 to give any help to that secondary.
Mike Thomas at the bottom of your screen. Sims Walker at the top. Out of the eye. Jones and Mojo in the backfield. Pump fake. Garrard. But Lewis! And Mercedes Lewis took a pounding, but held on to the ball and gets up. An 18-yard gain, Eugene Wilson and Quinn combining on the tackle.
Boy, I'll tell you, Mercedes Lewis, they're in motion, makes the inside move on Cushing. When he gets up the inside edge of the numbers, you can see it. Everybody converges on him. Eugene Wilson, there's Garrard in the pocket, but man, when Mercedes Lewis stands up from that one, you know he won that battle.
2 catches, 23 yards for Mercedes. First down at the 49. Play fake. Garrard looking. Mojo in space. And he gets crunched by Pollard. They are laying some wood on the field now, folks. I tell you what, Bernard Pollard may not be the best in coverage, but he will knock you out.
Well, he's already caused 1 incompletion just because of his presence. And you'll see this. Maurice Jones-Drew is kind of working on Cushing, hesitates, and that gives Pollard all the time he needs to come in and make a hit. And Maurice Jones-Drew knows when you have the ball in your hand, violence is coming.
14-yard gain, though, for Mojo. 1st and 10 at the 37. Inside handoff, Jones. And getting back to Pollard, Steve, remember when we talked to him earlier during the year, and he told us after he got cut by Kansas City that it really shook his entire world. He went home, he was trying to figure out what to do. At times he would just break out in tears because he was so nervous about what was going to happen to his career, which meant his family.
Well, and then he came in and got the opportunity in Houston and really exploded. He said he was going to be a different player, and he has been. He's been a completely different guy than the one that was in Kansas City.
And he's also captain today. 2nd down and 9 to the 36. They fire it out. Thomas. And Thomas out of bounds. Eugene Wilson pushes him out of bounds. So just like that, 11-yard gain. Jacksonville dinking and dunking their way up the field.
Yeah, and that's David Garrard spreading the football around. I mean, Mercedes Lewis, Mike Thomas, Sims Walker, of course, Maurice Jones-Drew, and they've even handed it off to Greg Jones just a moment ago. Everybody's carrying the football, and that's the way people are attacking the Houston Texans defense. If you spread the football around, they really struggle stopping you.
First down. Here comes a blitz. Jacksonville picks it up. Running it. And Sharpton brings down Maurice Jones-Drew. Now tonight on 60 Minutes, the first living soldier to earn the Medal of Honor since Vietnam. Plus, could the answer to our energy problems be right under our nose? Find out tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. Second down and 12 for Jack Del Rio's Jaguars at the Houston 27. Time running out here in the third quarter. Brian Cushing missed the first 4 after violating the league's substance abuse policy. Second down and 12. Gerard rolling, wants to run it, pulls it down, out of bounds at the 25. Brian Cushing chasing it. 2-yard gain. We talked to David Gerard yesterday. He wants to run the ball more.
Yeah, he does. And he knows he's good at it, and he's a big, tough runner. And you see there, he tucks it under, then thinks he's going to throw it again, and just gets out of bounds, maybe for a loss of a half a yard. But that's one of the things that he knows is a real compliment to his game. He is a good passer of the football. He's an accurate passer. But when he runs the football, he becomes doubly effective because of his ability to make first downs and put pressure on a defense.
Big play here, third down and 11 at the 26 and 3 of 7 on conversions. They need to go to the 15. Gerard out of the gun. Gerard caught, but not enough for the first down. And that's Zach Miller, but Eugene Wilson with a very nice tackle. A 10-yard gain. So now the Jaguars have a decision to make.
I think they're going to try and go for it. Mercedes Lewis walks onto the field along with Greg Jones, the fullback, and it was just short of the 15-yard line, which is the line to gain. So they got about a yard, a little over a yard to go. So this is pretty much Jack Del Rio's walking down to get a look at it himself.
And that takes us to the end of the third quarter. Game tied at 17. We'll return to Jayville after this message and a word from your local station. Houston with 14 third quarter points tied up at 17, and Jack Del Rio is going to take the points in this situation.
Well, his kicker's perfect on the year. He's 14 of 14 on field goals, 18 of 18 on PAT. Scobie's money. Take the points.
This one from 34 yards away. He's already nailed a 38-yarder. And a false start against.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty remains. Fourth down.
And that is the 4th false start penalty. This time Brad Meester, the center.
Well, he's the center. He's playing out here in field goal. And these guys switch around in field goal. Long snapper is actually Jeremy Kane. But Meester stays in, as do all the offensive linemen, so they can protect down inside against a huge rush.
So Scobie from 39 yards away. Uh-oh. And he pushed it. Wow. First miss of the season for Josh Scobie.
After an offsides penalty, after an illegal procedure penalty, your kicker misses his first one of the season. Inexcusable.
17-17, start of the fourth.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
Texans take over at the 29-yard line. First down, Leach, Arian Foster in the backfield. Shot, Walter. And all of a sudden, just like that, the Texans are inside Jacksonville territory. A 25-yard gain.
Josh Scobie, the last time he missed was week 17 of last year. It sets up the field position for this first down play. Look at Walter, double covered over the top by Rasheem Mathis. It makes the catch in traffic.
Walter, 4 catches, 65 yards. First down at the 46. Schaub rolling out, looking, and incomplete. Andre Johnson trying to keep both feet in bounds. Right in front of Don Carey.
And you said it a moment ago, You see Andre Johnson coming out just waiting for this pass. This is a team in Houston that all of a sudden just came alive. I mean, they were offensively sleepwalking through the first half. Exactly, and now they look like they're invigorated.
Second down, Foster. And Arian Foster goes down at the 46. Justin Durant with the tackle. Tennessee taking on Miami. Here's James Brown in New York.
Gus and Steve, Miami goes up by 10 when after a Vince Young fumble, Chad Henne on 2nd and 10 hooks up with Patrick Cobb's 13-yard scoring play. Miami up 20-10 late in the third on Tennessee. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker.
All right, both these teams, the winner would love nothing more than for Miami to beat Tennessee. Third down 10 at the 46. Ward back in the game for Houston. Next to Schaub, low snap. Schaub just falls on it at the 40, so that backs him up.
Yeah.
A loss of 14 yards.
Snap was low right, and he just couldn't gather it in. And on third down, you'd almost like to see him try and make some scoop it up and make a run, or at least throw it. But now the missed field goal just turns into bad field position for Jaguars instead of a touchdown the other direction.
Chris Myers, the center, with a low snap. So Matt Turk, who struggled his last 2 punts. This one, mediocre punt, gets a good bounce for the Texans. And we'll be down to the 12. A 45-yard punt. 12:50 to play in the fourth. 17-17. Manning, Brady, next Sunday on CBS. First down and 10 at the 13. Maurice Jones-Drew bounces it outside, crosses the 15, picks up 4 yards on the play as Sean Cody makes the tackle.
We talk about how even this game has been. A missed field goal for Jacksonville, the only difference. First half really belonged to Jacksonville. They dominated with their run game and the short passes, and then look at this. This is how even the series was. We showed you this at the beginning of the broadcast, and look how even. 1 total point in the series difference, 1 yard of total first down. Unbelievable how even this has been over the years, this series.
Maurice Jones-Drew will take a loss this time. Amobi Okoye first man to him.
And then you look at what it is today. Only a slight difference in total yards and only 1 third down conversion difference. Look at the these two teams are so evenly matched. And you know, you talk about this, Gus, about, well, we always say about how division games are tougher because there's such a level of familiarity, and both these teams acknowledge that there is. And both head coaches, both quarterbacks, you know, there's just no surprises, which is why these games are so difficult and so competitive.
Jacksonville facing a 3rd and 12 at the 11. Rashad Jennings in the game. They need to go to the 23.5 for a first down. Gerard. Mike Thomas first down, and he took a lick by Kareem Jackson. Holds on and gains 13 on 3rd down and 12.
This is David Gerard getting back, reading the defense from the pocket. You see his eyes are right on the middle linebacker, then moves out to his left and finds Thomas sitting in the dead spot in the zone for the first down.
First down, Jacksonville. 6 catches, 85 yards for Thomas Jackson, the rookie out of Alabama. Shaken up on the play. Out of the backfield, Jones, and the bruising fullback picks up 7 yards. Bernard Pollard again with the tackle.
I like the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though Maurice Jones-Drew has played so effectively in this game, you've got to spread the football around. Give Greg Jones a chance to catch it. Give Mike Thomas a chance to carry the football. And I wouldn't be surprised, too, if they don't let David Gerard have a bootleg keeper or just for a first down on short yardage. Spread the football around. Don't ask too much of Maurice Jones-Drew. It's a long season left.
Second down to 3 at the 31. And the handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew. Ryan Cushing with first contact. Tennessee and Miami continuing to battle. Here's JB in New York.
Hey, Gus, Vince Young looking to atone for a fumble that turned into Miami points on 3rd and 3. Hooks up here, Gus, with Nate Washington, 14-yard pass play. That capped an 11-play, 73-yard drive. Tennessee now within 3 of Miami late in the 3rd. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker.
All right, JB. Here in Jacksonville, our score is tied at 17 apiece. Big game in the AFC South. These two teams chasing Tennessee and Indianapolis. First down.
Chasing by 1 game. And you think, too, it's incredible to think about. The loser of this game is going to be in last place in the division. But at the end of the weekend, the winner could be in first place. Particularly if Tennessee doesn't win in Miami and the Colts lose. If that just means the winner of this game is in the tie for first place, or the Colts are on the bye. They can't lose ground.
Here's David Garrard, fires and caught.
I hate the bye week.
You hate the bye week. Quinn with the tackle and a 6-yard gain.
You think about the Colts coming back to play the New England Patriots next week and what that game will mean in this division. Both these coaches, and I think this one, particularly Kubiak, built his team to beat the Indianapolis Colts. And so did the rest of the teams in this division. And you see how these teams play against each other, how dead even it is. It's really amazing how these teams battle week in, week out.
David Garrard's getting hot now. He's hit 8 in a row. Out of the pocket, pumps it, wants to run, and goes down. Nice open field tackle by Glover Quinn. Glover Quinn has really done a nice job today. Yeah, he's done an excellent job coming up and making tackles. He's batted balls down. Good defense as well. Second-year player out of New Mexico.
Yep. Mike Sims-Walker, he's going to come open across the field right there. But by that time, I think David Garrard had decided to tuck it and run. We thought David Garrard might carry the football on a little boot, and I think that was a run-pass option right there. He chose to tuck it and go.
3rd down and 1 at the 43. Quarterback sneak. I don't know. I don't think he got there. Mario Williams, first man out of the pile, saying,
I don't think he got
not this time.
They're not giving him the spot. Watch, and that's the thing. You try and get a little quick snap a lot of times, and there it looks like he might have gotten it, but he disappears into the stack. That's just, oh man, it's like trying to run through the bushes, you know.
And he did not get it.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it. So the Jaguars, they keep the offense on the field. No. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. David Garrard stays in the huddle.
They bring in.
And this is a roll of the dice in a game that has been so even because they're giving up great field position. If you punt this football down, you can get it inside the 20-yard line without too much problem if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Let's see if they try to draw him offside.
I don't know. I don't think I agree with this. I think you punt the ball down deep and ask Houston to go the long way. Now they may not snap this ball. It may be the dummy play.
Jones drew in the backfield. 4th and inches. Quarterback sneak. And David Garrard gets it. First down.
Wow, that quarterback came through for his head coach. That's a roll of the dice that comes up lucky right here. Watch David Garrard picks a side, stays on his feet, and then gets some help there from Greg Jones, the fullback, too. See, that's a smart play by Garrard. Make sure he keeps his feet, doesn't let his knee touch, and drives forward. Wow. Huge 3rd down conversion, 4th down conversion.
First down and 10 at the 48. 10th play of the drive. Garrard, pump fake, looks backside. Miller cuts it back. Look at the big boy rumble in the end zone. Touchdown, Jaguars. $52 yards.
The secondary just flat forgets about Zach Miller. Look as he comes out. He's going to go up the field. Then he just falls in. Garrard sees him. Quinn is late getting over the cutback, and then it's all off to the races, and they can't get him. Great play by David Garrard, coming back to his third option on the play.
And a beautiful block by Mercedes Lewis on that run by Zach Miller. Extra point good. 80th career touchdown pass for David Garrard. And with 6:57 to go, the Jags take a 24-17 lead. Zach Miller with a 52-yard reception for a touchdown. And that's his first receiving touchdown of the year. 10-play, 87-yard drive. David Garrard, 9 straight completions, as well as that gamble on 4th and inches. And Jacksonville takes a 24-17 lead. Jacoby Jones takes a knee. Another look at Zach Miller gliding into the end zone. 24-17.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sony and Sony Internet TV. Television and internet together at last. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota.
Welcome back. 6:57 to play in the fourth. Matt Schaub over the middle. Andre Johnson. And he's wrapped up at the 37-yard line by Derek Cox, but it's a gain of 19 yards. But let's take a look back at the touchdown.
Well, right here, Brian Cushing is lined up on both the tight ends, trying to get a piece of both of them. Watch here as Glover Quinn loses track and just moves too far inside away from Zach Miller, who allows him to catch and then misses the tackle and let him get in for the end zone. His team defense is really what has done it to the Texans.
Schaub again, rolling with time. Schaub, nobody to throw it to, and he'll just tiptoe out of bounds at the 44, 5-yard gain. So for the Houston Texans this year.
This is the points that they've scored and the points that Jacksonville has allowed. And it looks way in favor of the Houston Texans, and they're going to need it. Down by a touchdown with 6 minutes.
2nd down and 5. Walter in motion. Arian Foster. And Foster will pick up about 2.5, maybe 3. Darrell Smith brings him down. 14 carries, 44 yards today for Arian Foster.
Yeah, this 3rd and 1 brings up, it's a great job by Matt Schaub on that first down play, just scrambling, not finding him, getting a 5-yard gain, allowing him to hand the ball off, set him up for a 3rd and short, a much easier conversion.
3rd down 1 at the 48. Johnson in motion. Schaub will throw it. Schaub up top. Double move, Andre Johnson, and a flag. Andre Johnson beating Rasheem Mathis again. Pass interference will go against the former Pro Bowler.
Pass interference. Defense, number 27. Spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
It's almost like Matt Schaub knew what was happening. Andre Johnson runs an out. Watch, he'll turn out, throw it for it, and then up. An out and up, and Rasheem Mathis is had right there. And then you see him. He's just trying to catch up. Matt Schaub throws it short. And you really wonder why Matt Schaub didn't throw the football up high. You always know that if the ball's short and the receiver has to come back through the defender to get it, it's going to be pass interference. Matt Schaub threw it the right way.
22-yard penalty. 1st and 10 of the 30. Foster with a leg. Foster goes down inside the 20. Courtney Green cut him down after a 12-yard pickup.
Oh, and Arian Foster made him miss. The last cut he makes, his left foot's going to cross over, and he slips. Courtney Green was going to miss that tackle, and Arian Foster's foot gave out and just couldn't hold on. That was almost a touchdown.
First down, though, at the Jacksonville 18. Shot, pump fake, in the corner, over the shoulder. Touchdown, Andre Johnson. Oh, but a flag on the play.
Yeah, there's a flag at the line of scrimmage in the area of holding and also in the secondary.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Personal foul, chop block, offense number 74. Illegal contact, defense number 21. Those penalties offset, replay first down.
And that's a win for Jacksonville. The chop block comes when an offensive lineman cuts a defensive lineman low when he's engaged with another player. Right there, you see it over here. Wade Smith called for the chop block. Right there to the left of your screen. And that's a chop block.
First down and 10 to the 18-yard line. Arian Foster in the backfield. Here's Schaub looking again. Incomplete. Walter couldn't hold on. Matt Schaub, what a pass.
He's got to finish catching the football. It looked like he had it, no question about it, but the ball came out very late, and as we've all come to see in the National Football League this year, the receiver in the end zone has to finish completely with the football.
Oh, that's a touchdown, Steve.
And look, he dropped it right there. He was holding it up to show the official, and he lost it then. And I agree. I mean,
that's a touchdown, Steve. Go back.
Hey,
remember the Detroit Lions, Calvin Johnson?
It's a
week 1 against Chicago.
That wasn't a touchdown either. Now watch, he's got it. No question. You're right. In the backyard with your friends, everything.
Houston is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Remember,
between you and me, it's a touchdown when we're playing in the yard, but not in the NFL.
I think the NFL is taking a closer look at this kind of play. We'll see after this. Welcome back. There's a challenge on the field. Kevin Walter says that he had the football. Let's take another look at it.
And as we said before we went, Gus, your friends and everything, that's it. But watch, you see there, Cox's foot hits his arm and knocks the play loose.
Let's go back. Week 1, Detroit's Calvin Johnson caught an apparent go-ahead touchdown from Sean Hill with 12 seconds left, but referee Gene Steratore ruled that Johnson did not maintain possession of the ball throughout the entire process of the catch. Chicago held on for a 19-14 win, and that's Gene Steratore right there. And since then, the NFL has come back and said that should have been ruled to catch, and they've taken a closer look at the rule.
Well, that throws a big gray area on this, doesn't it? This paints this with a gray brush, doesn't it?
Let's see.
Because it looked to me like Cox's foot knocked his arm and knocked the ball loose. We'll see.
After review, it has been determined that the receiver maintained possession and performed the second act by raising the football still in his possession. Therefore, the ruling is a touchdown. Houston will not be charged with a timeout.
18-yard touchdown for Walter.
And you see it here, and we said it. He's caught it. That ball, the ball should be dead to watch, and then it comes out after Cox's foot hits his right forearm when he holds the ball up to show the official that, yes, indeed, he caught it. And that is a touchdown. You see, now, to me, him knocking the ball out of his hands makes it a no touchdown. But that is, they looked at it, so that's got to, you can chisel that in stone. I never want to see that changed again. I don't want him to see come back and say, well, we might have got that wrong, like they did with the Calvin Johnson touchdown. If that's not a touchdown, if that's a touchdown, fine. Call it like that all the time.
So Neil Rackers comes in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. 4:19 to play. And a flag on the play.
Illegal formation defense. Nose tackle lined up over the center. It's a 5-yard penalty. The extra point is good, and we will assess the 5 yards on the kickoff. Timeout.
So we are tied at 24, 4:19 to play in the fourth. Back to Jacksonville after this.
Love each other. We'll get it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Kayak.com. Search one and done.
Say it again. And welcome back. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker. 4:19 to play in the fourth. Game tied at 24. As you take a look at the scoring drive, 5 plays, 80 yards.
We got to cover it.
So Rackers sends it away. Deji Kareem brings it out 8 yards deep. And Kareem fumble!
Wow. 8 yards deep and then coughed it up. And I'll tell you what, the strongest cat gets it in there. The guy that starts out with it may not be the one who ends up with it.
So Jacksonville will hold on as Deji Kareem, the rookie, manages to come up with the football.
Yeah, he was down anyway. It would have come back as a fumble anyway inside the 20, and they could challenge the spot right there too, could the Texans, and say that it was down into 16 rather than 20. But he's down.
24-24, Texans and Jags. First down with David Garrard at his own 20. Garrard to throw. Sideline, Mercedes Lewis lowers his shoulder as he crosses the 30 and gets to the 34-yard line. That's a 13-yard gain. Now coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Z for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show.
This is with 3:42 or 3:40 left in the game. Jacksonville would love to use up about all of it with a field goal to win it at the other end.
First down. Here's the reverse. Mike Thomas with the lane. Bounces it outside. And Mike Thomas tripped up by Zach Dials after a 20-yard gain.
Great end around, great call at the right time as you see Jones come out, gets a nice block on the corner. And Thomas staying in bounds. We said Mike Thomas built like a running. He's 5'9", 200 pounds. It's about like a running back in the league.
First down and 10 at the Houston 47. Jones and Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. Mojo breaks the first tackle and crosses the 45, a 3-yard gain. Sean Cody with the tackle.
Gain of 3 yards, second down and 7.
I think the strategy for Jacksonville is to grind this ball down inside, force the Houston Texans to use all their timeouts to conserve the clock, and then just get to Scobie's range. You see there the 41-yard line, and Scobie has already missed one today. Well, it's the only one he's missed all season, so you think there's no way he'll miss 2 in the same game.
Missed a 39-yarder, good from 38 yards away. Garrard in trouble, got it away. Thomas. Mike Thomas has been incredible. Gain of 14, Pollard with the tackle, and they're in Scobie's range with 2 minutes to play. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. Arian Foster can only watch looking forward to getting another opportunity. Matt Schaub throwing that touchdown to Kevin Walter. And Josh Scobie warming up on the sideline. We called the Detroit Lions game last week. Jim Schwartz, their head coach, told us that the league called them after the Calvin Johnson play and told him that it should have been ruled a touchdown. First down and 10 at the 30.
A lot of good it does them now.
Here's a handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew. And Maurice Jones-Drew stopped by Zach Dials. 3 timeouts remaining for Houston, and they used the first one.
And that's what this is all about right now, timeouts.
Matt Schaub just looking for one more shot to get on the field. And don't forget, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS serves up a big doubleheader. First, these Texans head to the Meadowlands to take on Mark Sanchez and the Jets, or the Raiders square off with the Steelers. Then it's one of the most anticipated games of the year as the Colts and the Patriots continue their red-hot rivalry. Check local listings beginning with the NFL today.
Yeah, the Indianapolis-New England game's the one I wish was this weekend.
You have to wait a week. Second down and 8 at the 28. Mike Sims-Walker splits wide at the top of your screen. Jones and Maurice Jones-Drew in the backfield. Here's the pitch. Maurice Jones-Drew with running room. Flag on the play as he stopped at the 20 by Eugene Wilson.
And this is huge. If this is a hold, this will move them back to the 40-yard line and changes things.
Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
That's Eugene Monroe, the left tackle.
All the way back to the 38-yard line. This one's going to come back. Right there. Yeah. He horse-collared him around. And that's, that's huge because now it turns into a long 50-yarder, 56-yarder if they try to kick the winning field goal from here. Now things change for Jacksonville. Forget about milking timeouts out of the Texans. They've got to get back to a higher percentage field goal for Scobie.
Second down and 18 at the 38. Garrard, sideline, Mercedes Lewis. And he gets down to the 32 as Brian Cushion brings him down.
Yeah, and there's one more thing about this. If the Jaguars do take, as the Texans take their second timeout, if the Jaguars do attempt this field goal with, say, 50 seconds left rather than 10, the Texans are going to get great field goal if it's not good, a great field position if it's not good. So there's a double-edged sword. Kubiak can get the football back for his football team using these timeouts and keep them clear outside the 30-yard line. That's a very iffy field goal, even if it is Josh Scobie kicking it.
So a big third down and 12 here. The first down, as you mentioned, Steve, not the point, but just to get a couple of extra yards to get inside Scobie's range or get closer for Scobie. David Garrard, 12 straight completions. Texans showing blitz. Maurice Jones-Drew, and he leans forward and gets to the 25 as Bernard Pollard stops him. So Houston calls their final timeout with 1:39 to go.
And this is, look at Josh Scobie as he comes on the field. This is his only miss of the year. And it's interesting because you'd think Kubiak would like to ice him with a timeout. He just had to use his last timeout. There'll be no icing Scobie here. And that miss followed where his own teammate iced him. When Brad Meester twitched at the offensive line, they had to stop the play, back it up 5 yards, and that led to the miss. His own teammate iced him.
So this will be a 43-yard attempt for Josh Scobie. 9 of 9 this year from 40-plus yards. He missed a 39-yarder earlier. Oh, he just hooked it. He shanked it.
It was deflected, I think.
And the score remains tied at 24 with 1:34 to go. And the Texans will get decent field position.
It's just what we talked about just before that happened. The Texans reacted as though somebody got a piece of this. And it had no chance at all when it comes out as a wobbly snap. But the hold was good. And that's just a bad kick. Let's see if somebody gets a piece of this. I don't know. I don't know that anybody got a piece of it, but obviously as soon as it left his foot, it had no shot. No, I think he just mishit it.
So the Texans take over at their own 33. No timeouts. Jacksonville with 3 timeouts. Arian Foster in the backfield with Schaub. Here's Schaub, screen. Foster trips, gets up, and goes down. At the 36, a 4-yard gain. Where do they need to go to get in Neil Racker's territory, Steve?
They've got to get to the same yard line that the Jaguars were trying to get to, the 40, 41-yard line. But at the end of regulation, there's no reason not to try a 59-yarder and just let him try it.
2nd and 6. Schaub pulls it down on the move. Schaub looking for the first time, and he gets out of bounds, stopping the clock at 1:01.
Now, right now, 1:01 is a long time, particularly with an offense as capable as Houston's offense. The timeouts, you'd like to have them, but with 1:01, and they only need to get from the line of scrimmage now maybe 15 to 20 yards to give them a legitimate shot. Anything more than that is gravy. So 1:01 is plenty of time, particularly with a first down play.
Andre Johnson splits wide to the top of your screen. Kevin Walter has been big in this game. Schaub, sideline, and this time it's Anderson. David Anderson with an 8-yard gain. Clock continues to run. No timeouts for Houston. Hurry up offense being applied by Schaub. 2nd down and 2. Game tied at 24. Schaub drops over the middle. Walter down at the 40.
Now they're going to have to spike it right now. They'll have to spike it here to stop the clock. Now with 22 seconds left, they've got to use the clock wisely. There may be enough time to complete a pass and then spike it again. But on 2nd down, that'll be it.
And Steve, as you've always taught me, it's going to be hard. They can't take a sack.
Well, they can't take a negative play. Matt Schaub, the number one thing he cannot do is take a sack. They cannot take a negative play. Right now, it's a 58-yard field goal attempt, which is not out of the realm of possibility. But they can't take a negative play.
2nd down and 10 at the 40. Here's Schaub, the throw underneath, and a flag on the play. Oh, a false start penalty against Houston.
Play. There's a negative play. Now they may put, if the play didn't happen, they may put the time back on the clock.
They do put the 22 seconds back.
Prior to the snap, it's a false start offense, number 85. It's a 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's a tight end, Joel Dreesen.
And there's the negative play they couldn't afford to take, but the clock is stopped anyway. So now they, right here, you see there, it just took just a quiver.
2nd and 15 at the 45. Schaub looking. Schaub to the sideline, and he wisely just throws it out of bounds with 16 seconds left.
Yeah, they were trying to work the top of to the left side of the offense. They had 3 receivers, having one guy go short to the out of bounds, which was Anderson, which is who Schaub threw it over the top of. But Schaub thought about running it and realized he couldn't do it.
So strategically right now, Steve, Matt Schaub doesn't have a lot of options. No timeouts. He's got to be careful if he throws the ball over the middle of the field.
They can't throw the football over the middle of the field unless they run their field goal unit out quick. They've got to stop the clock on this play or they'll run out of time.
Schaub looking over the middle. Dreesen lost it. And Jacksonville has the ball with 8 seconds to go.
This is the first turnover of the game. And it happens perhaps on the last meaningful play in regulation. Great play by Considine, never giving up, never giving in, making the tackle, stripping the football, heads up play by the defender.
Do you think, Steve, that even if Dreesen would have held on to that football, they would have been able to get the field goal unit on and kick a field goal?
I don't think so.
With no timeouts?
8 seconds left on the clock, they would have had to get up, and right away, they couldn't spike the football because it's just about short of the first down. Now, it would have been short of the first down. So they would have had to spike the football. And they couldn't because it would have been 4th down. If they spike it, they give the ball over on downs. They would have had to run their field goal team onto the field and try a hurried attempt, which teams practice, but you practice it with like 12, 15 seconds, not 8. That would have been impossible. So it was a desperation play that went awry for Houston to begin with, and it ended in the turnover.
So David Garrard comes to the line of scrimmage, 8 seconds left, 2 timeouts. He's got a kicker with a big leg if he can come up with one decent completion. Garrard to the sideline. And out of bounds goes Mercedes Lewis with 3 seconds to go.
Well, they're going to try and set up for a Hail Mary. With 3 seconds, that's the only chance they've got, and it could turn into a Cal Stanford play.
There's no ban.
But they're going into overtime, and a lot of coaches don't want to do that because a lot of people feel like you lose the coin flip, you lose the game. They don't want to leave it up to a coin flip.
Houston in the prevent defense. 3 receivers at the bottom for Jacksonville. And somebody jumps offside. Antonio Smith.
Offside. Defense number 94 unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, now it brings it to almost the 50-yard line. I mean, you can't miss it. I mean, this is like, that's the elephant in the room. No offense to Antonio Smith. And that gives him now, David Garrard can throw it to the end zone now. And it's going to be up to the front 7 of the defense to either put enough pressure on him that he can't make a good throw or just depend on the deep guys to knock it away.
Garrard steps up, fires, Mike Sims Walker, knocked down. Oh, he caught it! Oh, unbelievable! Mike Thomas, touchdown Jags! Ball game, 50 yards! Whoa!
David Garrard buys enough time for the receivers to get down there, and you said it, Mike Sims Walker's going to go up for it, but it's knocked to the ground right into the hands of Mike Thomas. Glover Quinn knocks it down with both hands like a volleyball player, spiking it over the net right into the catch of Mike Thomas. Unbelievable. And by rule, they'll line up for the extra point. Absolutely amazing. How many games come down to a Hail Mary, it's knocked away,
Unsportsmanlike
nothing ever
conduct.
happens?
Excessive celebration on the offense. By rule, that foul is not enforced on the extra point. The touchdown is successful, and we must try the PAT.
Excessive celebration, you think?
What? Maybe the play of the year in the NFL. A 50-yard Hail Mary. Mike Thomas, what a game. 8 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown.
That touchdown.
Extra point, good. David Garrard, big strong arm QB. Let this one go. Mike Thomas, right place, right time.
Unbelievable. Glover Quinn, you see it, he does it, he knocks it away. The only thing else he could have done was to catch it. And right there, knocks it down as hard as he can, knocks it away. You know he's been coached to do that. Just knock it down, get it out of the play, get it out of the end zone, and all of a sudden it ends up in the hands of Mike Thomas.
Scintillating finish in Jacksonville as the Jags win it 31-24 on a last-second play. Mike Thomas with the huge touchdown. For Steve Tasker, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Jacksonville. You've been watching the National Football League on CBS.